Hey, what is going on, everybody? ChazmaN here, and today we are back with another episode of the ChazmaNpodcast, where, as always, this is your favorite place to hear all of the, nerdy, ridiculous video game news that has kind of rustled our jimmies. I like saying rustle our jimmies. It just sounds funny.
It's because
No?
you're gross, man.
You guys don't like that one? I don't know. All the stuff
You're
that's...
bringing the wrong kind of clientele to this podcast if you keep talking.
Don't get your panties in a wad.
I have to switch it to the Russell and Jimmy's category. All right, but yeah, we got quite a bit of stuff for you guys this week. I mean, what do we got? It doesn't sound like we played that many games. Just one. We got quite a bit of speedrun topics, and we're going to talk about something that is kind of going away that all of us have an attachment to. But I forgot to ask, how are you guys? How have you been since the last podcast? Ooh.
I feel like The Walking Dead right now. So.
I was gonna say, I think all three of us looking a little ragged.
Yeah, this is for me, for various reasons, probably the busiest week of the entire year. Like everything's just kind of like culminating in, hitting right now. So I'm a little drained, but that's okay. I still wanted to chit chat a little bit. There's definitely some topics I want to give some input towards. So I'm here, maybe at like 80% capacity, but I'm here. So that's all you can ask for.
I'm just super tired. I'm tired of sleeping on this bed. I want to go to my bed. I want to go home.
I'm in the total same boat. My work is wearing me ragged right now. I'm like, everyone's quitting. I'm one of the only people. I should be following them at this point, but we'll see. Things are very interesting. It's a very interesting time. But I don't know. What do you guys say you want to go right into I think the only game we have on the dock for this week?
Yeah, you guys go for it. This is gonna be all you guys.
You didn't get to
the
play
only game I
you
play.
Had it, I thought.
No, I didn't pre-order it yet. I watched you play, but the only game I've been playing is Snap. That's just sucked up my life. So
it's an excellent
season.
It's an excellent choice. I already got a Hitmonkey. I already got my Hitmonkey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't really figured out a good deck for him just yet. I've tried to play him in a bounce deck, but I'm not good with bounce decks yet.
Yeah, Hitmonkey, I thought it would be good with... I don't know if Hitmonkey would go good with Squirrel Girl, because it gives points to each card that you lay down. So would it give points to the other squirrels?
I don't know if Squirrel Girl counts, because you only technically play Squirrel Girl, you don't play the squirrels. Now Mysterio is different, because with Mysterio, the whole point is that you don't know which one's been played, so I think he counts a little bit differently. So, I mean, the right idea, but I think you have to really understand the behaviors of the cards to make sure that they're gonna, proc them the right way. But
what are you saying? You're saying I don't understand behavior?
I'm saying you don't understand behavior. We need to make a section just about Snap, because now that's my new Pokemon Arceus. I could talk about that for days and days.
It's funny because I've said it. I don't know if I've said it before, but like it's almost always the other way around, where you're the one that gets me hooked onto like Destiny or Returnal or something. And I think this is the first time a recommendation of mine has kind of gotten through to you. I don't know.
Yeah, I shouldn't have listened to you. I knew it was a bad idea, but
yes.
Anyways, I'll turn you guys loose for this one.
No, I actually Gamer played like 2 to 3 times as much as the Diablo 4 beta as me, but we'll let Gamer go first. This is his. This is your one of your picks. You need this to score well.
Oh, I think it's gonna score well regardless. I mean, it's Diablo, for Pete's sake,
For pizza's sake.
But for pizzas, ooh, yum. So, what should I say about it? I guess first things first. I thought the cinematics were really pretty. Obviously, that's a typical Blizzard stamp of approval right there. Like, they have amazing graphics and amazing animations. Very nice, like ray tracing, all that fun stuff. So, it starts off really, really, really gory. More gorier than the last one, if I should say. A lot of blood.
There will be blood. There will be lots of blood.
There would. Oh yeah, and this one I think there's just a ridiculous amount. And now that I think about it, I don't remember did the last one have a lot of blood too.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but the style of like Diablo 3 was borderline cartoony, so I think it just read differently. I mean, there was plenty of gore and blood, but just I don't
It's
know,
not like
just
that.
read differently on the screen.
Yeah, this one is like different, for sure.
Well, the whole point is just going back to a little more of like Diablo 2 aesthetic, where it's a little darker, a little grimmer, a little rougher. So
It did feel that way. Gameplay style, it played pretty well. It has a tree that it uses.
The skill tree is weird. It's one of
Yeah,
the odder things, odder additions, I would say.
yeah. Like I think I mentioned. Well, I mentioned when I was talking to you guys before about that. It's almost as if you have to respec more often than you should, and just to get certain things out of the way, just to progress a little bit. If I had to kill ghosts or whatever, you use lightning to get past them. One of the bosses was like that. I forgot exactly which boss it was.
I
Really wasn't paying attention.
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
No, go on. I was just gonna say.
I was just gonna say I just thought about it, but I guess the skill tree is kind of fits the thematic of the game or the game, yeah. Because I just thought about it, but like the way Lilith gets returned is all of those guys get sacrificed, and their blood seeps into the petals, and I guess it makes sense that that's your skill tree because the more enemies you kill, because the skill tree looks just like that flooring, that petals, like you saying.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I guess I just mean thematically it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's like for every skill or every time you level up, you get a ability point. So that ability point gives you, you know, I guess a little bit more blood into the skill tree. So it kind of moves along for every time you, let's say you get fire, and then it's like, oh, okay, cool. So you get the fire move, and it just moves over just a little bit. So for every several points, I guess like 2 or 3, it moves on to the next skill, it moves on to the next skill, moves on to the next skill, and it just keeps going until I don't know if you looked into the skill tree a little bit more, but
I didn't get to really get into it that much.
It gets to a point where it's like it's more just like extra like perks and different like move, not even different, more additions to your skill sets. So it just depends on like what character you're using and how you want the build to go, and it's just stuff like that.
So out of curiosity, I mean, I haven't played much of 4, but it sounds like this is a more restrictive skill tree. Like 3, for better or for worse, especially after a few updates, got real loose with your skills, right? Like I know for like I'm assuming it's for every class, but once you like unlocked your different skills, you can kind of combine them whatever capability or whatever order you want. So it's super flexible. It sounded like this is not really that. Like you have to go to a very narrow path and doesn't have the opportunity to kind of mix and match your skill tree. Is that kind of what I'm understanding, or is that flexibility you think still going to kind of be there?
The flexibility is kind of there. You can still get whatever it is that you have within that little section in the skill tree. So if in case you do, let's say you do fire, you could do ice, you could do lightning, you could do all of them. It's just you'll have to change it out in your deck. So for every time you have to like change them out. So it's like, okay, so it just depends on how many ability points you have at that point in time. Like since it's only a beta, I only had like 20 points. You can only do but so much. I'm sure later on you could do a whole bunch of other nonsense with it. So I think it's flexible later. I think right now it just seems kind of restricted because they only had it
How
open.
many points? Yeah. Okay,
So,
interesting.
yeah,
The 3 really went that opposite direction. I think when 3 first started, it was pretty restrictive. And then remember there was that. Actually, I think you had to go into the menu after a certain point, like check it where it was like, I don't remember what they called it. Not performance, professional. I don't know what they called it, but gave you the control to actually basically slot in any skill you wanted as long as it fit your class or whatever like that. So I liked that. I like having very flexible builds, but I know some people probably wanted it to probably lean more like the true role playing side of things, where like you lock yourself into a skill tree and that's kind of the direction that your character goes. And if you want a different build, you have to make a different build into the character. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I didn't get that far to really. I don't know. I only got up to like level 10, so I didn't even unlock that many skills. I got like maybe 4 skill points or something at that. I don't know. I didn't get
Or
to like.
you should have had like 10 by then, because it
Really?
was like for 1 point for every like level you go up.
Is it?
Yeah,
Maybe
you
I
get
did.
one
I don't remember.
Yeah, you get quite a few. I got the Hydra at some point. I was using Hydra, but it was only the Fire Hydra, and yeah, it was just kind of messing around. I enjoyed it. I like dungeon crawlers, so you know, I personally enjoyed it a lot, especially when you get to play with your friends.
How was the performance on it? Like, I assume you're playing on PC, right?
Yeah, laptop in this case. I wish I was playing it on my PC.
Well, that's kind of what I'm curious. Like, for your laptop, I know, like, I don't remember exactly what your specs are in your machine, but comparative to your specs, do you feel like it runs pretty well? Is it gonna, not be very well optimized on certain machines? What are your thoughts?
It's definitely not well optimized for certain machines. I'm gonna tell you that.
It didn't
It's
run
struggled
well.
on mine.
Yeah, on my PC, I had troubles. I switched over to Xbox for the beta.
Yeah, I'm sure it ran really good on the Xbox. My wife's laptop was not running. It's surprisingly enough, it ran enough at the lowest settings possible, and even then, it was kind of blotchy every so often.
What kind of GPU and like what were the specs on the machine that you were running?
Oh, the one I was running, I have a Xeon processor. Can't really remember exactly off the top of my head.
Okay.
It's a Xeon processor from 2018 with a the laptop I'm using has a Quadro M2200 in it.
Oh, it's a Quadro.
So, Quadro, it doesn't really handle games really well.
Yeah, that's a rendering card.
So, but it handled what it can, and it did pretty good considering.
What was the frame rate? Do you recall? Did it seem smooth or?
So I made the stupid mistake of playing it on 4K because I'm dumb.
Oh.
And I forgot that I was on 4K, and it was chugging at like 10 frames.
PowerPoint. Yeah.
Woo, it was bad. So
like Spider-Verse.
Oh man, it was horrible. So when I realized that was going on, I decided to bring it down to 1080. It made a massive difference. I think I was getting about 20 something frames, and that's still sucky.
Yeah, that's still pretty low. I mean, it's on a Quadro and it's a little older, so I guess that's to be expected. But I don't know. I'm just always curious. Like my PC is starting to feel old as dirt right now, so I'm trying to think if it's even worth considering playing it on PC or if I should just stick to console. And it sounds like console is probably the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, if I was playing on my PC at home, I think it would eat it like butter. I have a 3080, so that's gonna eat it up. But you said, Chaz, you were playing it on PC as well?
I played it on PC, and I had it on the lowest settings, and even because I recently went up from 8 to 16 gigs on my RAM, and even in that case, I still got, like you were saying, like I think it was probably because I was streaming and running multiple applications, but I was still getting down to like 15, probably like 15, 20.
I think if I tried streaming at the same time, it would be fine, but then I think it would chug. And I have 64, so
Xbox was great. It's just the shit, I can't think what. Oh, the resolution just wasn't resolution.
Yeah,
when running through an Elgato, it's not nowhere near as good.
The resolution makes a massive difference.
Mm-hmm.
It just, man, if you're running on 4K, don't do it. unless you're first off, your monitor can handle it and your GPU. I would not suggest it.
Mm-hmm.
I would not suggest it. It looked pretty, but man, it was just eating up it was blowing hot air, like, no joke.
Yeah. One of the reasons I asked for the performance too, like, cause right now this is slated to basically come out for every major console, right? It's coming out for PlayStation, it's coming out for Xbox, coming out for PC, but it's not coming out for Switch. So based upon the performance experience you're having, I mean, it's sounding like that is a pretty good choice, kind of an obvious choice. Like, no way Switch could handle this in any playable state. Is that kind of what you guys are feeling?
Yeah, I don't think so. And not in its current state. I hope they optimize it more, to be honest with you, because it ran like garbage. I'm hoping that's just because it's beta. I'm hoping they fix it, but
I'm sure it will get better. I guess what reason I kind of find that interesting is like the Switch is kind of a great handheld for Diablo. I mean, that's the kind of game that works really well on it. My wife played, crap load of hours on the Switch version of it.
Too many.
I think it's So it's kind of a shame that it's not coming to Switch in some facet. I mean, I understand, technical limitations and whatnot. The Switch is not exactly a fresh piece of technology, but do you think that's going to be, a downside to, Switch users in general? Do you think they can hold out to the Switch 2, or whatever they're going to call it, where they can then run Diablo? Or should they come out with some weird port down the line just to get, Diablo onto the current Switch?
They're probably going to end up doing it for the next one. I'm pretty positive, because if the current one's not going to be able to handle it, and even then, like, the
Or
one...
if they do a cloud version.
If they did a cloud version, maybe. But... I mean, it pretty much runs like an MMO. I mean, it needs connection at all times, no matter how you look at it. I mean,
Right.
Not saying that the Diablo 3 wasn't the same way. It's just this with public events happening in middle while you're running around. Yeah,
It's a game that should be best played online enabled. I guess the reason I kind of think about that too, like typically I'm very much against like Switch cloud ports because they usually don't run well. There's definitely delay and whatnot. Like I know Kingdom Hearts people hated because the input delay and whatnot was just enough to really kind of throw off the feel of the game. But that's also a very different type of game, right? Kingdom Hearts, I mean, the timing of the battle mechanics and whatnot, like you really feel if something's not one to one. Diablo, though, at least in my experience, that's not quite the case. I mean, it's a not going to say more casual, but it's a looser game in a lot of ways. I mean, it's still certainly you want to have, control of what your character's doing and make sure proccing things when you need to. But if are a little slower to, execute an ability or whatnot, it's typically okay. So it makes me think maybe a cloud version would be more successful on the Switch because the Switch has such a huge install base. I mean, I'm sure the Switch 2 is going to eventually sell like gangbusters, and if they put Diablo on it, that's going to be great. But at the same time, right now, the Switch has, a gajillion models, not models, but units out there. Getting Diablo on there in some way, shape, or form seems kind of like a no-brainer. So
I wouldn't be surprised. What's up?
No, I was just saying I just thought about it like that Switch was kind of odd because if I remember, the first few Diablos were not so like easy to access to like casual gamers, and it's kind of funny how now they're like
games.
Yeah, they're like I remember playing the first one was hard.
Everything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just fun. I just thought it was funny because you're bringing up casual gaming.
they made 3 so accessible to like everybody.
They did.
From casual gamers to like hardcore gamers. Like they made it easy, they made it fun, they made it freaking ridiculous, and they did a lot of things that hell. I mean, they even bought in the auction house once, and that was a terrible idea.
Yeah, we don't speak of those days. So
That's. I mean, and not for nothing though. Like every beta that I've ever with Diablo has always been horrible. So, the wait times were awful. Everything was just not. It was fun, but I pre-ordered the game like a nerd, so I'm just gonna play it. I mean, we're all nerds here, but I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it.
Nerd.
I know, right? While you're drinking from your Dragon Ball cup.
Quiet.
So yeah, overall, I think it's. I hope there's more. There's gonna definitely be, and I'm looking forward to playing the rest of the game when it comes out. So,
is there anything you didn't like gameplay wise about it? I mean, ignoring performance and some technical stuff, like gameplay wise, is there like maybe a change or a direction they've made to the game that you're like, I'm not sure if I'm really digging this?
I think for me, in terms of the environment, the biggest new addition is probably the verticality. And I guess we didn't really get this chance to see how much verticality there'll be. I mean, it pretty much just came down to like, oh, there's a cliff, click on it, he climbs. You know what I mean? There's not...
Well, that is true. I forgot about that. There were some additions.
It's a slight change in like movement and and kind of just the environments. Yeah. But I didn't really get a sense it was going to play like a huge part in the game experience.
What was interesting that I enjoyed was that you actually get to... I completely forgot you had a character creation screen. I completely forgot about that. That was actually really important. They completely made a customizable character creation. Face, everything you could possibly think of. So you can make your character. And then...
Which isn't going to matter because as soon as you throw a helmet on them, you'll never see their face again.
So. But funny enough, what they did do that was interesting, which could make or break your experience depending on the performance of your PC, is the in-game cinematics. So the camera moves in, it does things. You get to see your character much closer. You actually look like your character's literally interacting with the environment.
That's interesting.
It is. I completely forgot about that. And again, that can make or break. I liked it to a point, but I also like the fact that, like, in the other game, it was pretty, they talk, they do whatever, and then you continue.
Yeah.
That
It's
could
like you
get
stop, you watch a little mini movie, and then it moves on. Your character really had no bearing on any of it. They were just there. So.
Right. You're just going through the storyline of, I don't know, the wizard or whatever.
Right.
Don't kick my ass for
And
that.
another thing I didn't really get a good
Sorcerer, not wizard.
another thing I didn't get a good sense of was like the new public events and public.
Oh, you didn't play it?
I got to do one, and I think there's only one other person there. So, I mean, I don't know. Did you get to play any like big boss battles or crazy public events?
Oh no, I haven't done any of the crazy ones. I did the ones that I just passed by, and like smaller events where like people come by, they just, if you're a part of it, you get to reap the benefits of being a part of it. And that's pretty much it. But I didn't get to do any of the major bosses. I heard that some bosses you're gonna need like several people, like 10 people maybe, to be able to like take one down. I don't know. I have to look into it some more. But that's what I was reading.
Those were some of my favorite moments in 14 Final Fantasy, or was it? Yeah.
Oh, the raids.
The raids. Some of those
raids are great.
Those are one of the big things I miss about that game.
Yeah. This one's gonna have a few of those, it seems.
Yeah.
Like if we need to like play against like somebody, I might have to get you and to play that.
I'll definitely be getting it.
I think if there's something that I didn't like, and this could be just because of the way it is, I was playing with my wife on a story and it didn't count towards mine. And I was like, oh, so I'm just doing hers. I'm like, oh, well, like, okay, I'll play it anyway.
That could also be a beta. That could also be a beta thing.
I feel like I had a similar issue in a different Diablo. I'm trying to recall, and it's been so long, but like, if you don't start on the exact same like chapter as them, like at the same time, it doesn't count. Like, puts you at a different point in the storyline, and things don't count. If I'm thinking of the right game, it could have been a different co-op game I played, but I feel like it was Diablo 3. I was trying to like track with. It was my wife when we were playing together, and it was something like I was further ahead or she was further ahead, and when we joined, one person didn't get credit after a certain point, but maybe I'm mistaken.
So. I'm trying to remember if that was something that...
I mean, regardless, that's frustrating. You would hope that if you guys are both needing something to be, checked off on your, storyline, whatever it is, and you both complete it, it should count for both. So maybe that is just a beta, like, mishap or something that they have overlooked in that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I'm hoping they'll bring the light on some of that stuff, but that's something I didn't like. I did run into some areas that you can't go there, so they threw you back, just because of beta purposes. Right. So, certain areas you can't do. They kind of had it on the map, and it's like, hey, go here, and it's like, ooh, I want to go, and then you can't go because it's not a part of this.
Wait for the full game.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, be a part of the game. It's like, okay, I guess I'll wait. And
then it's oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's been confirmed. Progress that's not carrying over.
Yeah, they're not carrying over. So those hours I put in is gonna go to waste. It's okay. I don't care. I mean,
with Diablo, the whole point is that you play, 30 different characters for hundreds of hours. So like whatever time you put in now is, a drop in the bucket.
Nope. Yeah. Nope. You wasted your life. You wasted your whole.
Yeah. So I don't.
Sounds like more Diablo.
You wasted your life. More Diablo.
Yep. More Diablo. So. I liked it. I want to play the actual game to see what other things I don't like. So
is that a bad? Is that a bad thing? Because that's what I've gotten from it. Is that it like I'm excited and happy, but it's to me it just feels like it's going to be more Diablo. Is that a bad thing or is that a good thing for a developer to kind of to do? I don't know.
Well, I mean that's their game. If they change it,
people are
People are
gonna
gonna get pissed off.
people are gonna
Like,
pitchforks.
if we don't want a different game. We want Diablo. That's like
It's
how
a real fine line. Like, you're gonna have those who just want more of the same, then you have those who want to see innovation. So here's the thing: I think people who want innovation don't want complete innovation, right? It still needs to be the game that they love to play, and then just a couple of new bells and whistles. But I mean, there are other games that are kind of following to the same, or at least the discussion around it's kind of similar. Like we talked about Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. It looks very much like Breath of the Wild, for better or for worse, with some new stuff to it. Is that a good or a bad thing? And we can talk about that when we get to that topic here in just a minute. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I am glad that it's more Diablo. I think it really depends too, like how you play games. Like if you have played Diablo 3 nonstop and you're still playing it, came out, you just keep on going, and you play up until 4, then there's probably a part of you who's like, man, I'm ready for something a little bit different, right? Because you played that game nonstop forever long. If you take a break and then you come back after 6 months, a year, or however long, then even if the game is relatively similar to what you used to play, that's still fine because you've had a break from it. Like that's my argument for like even why I'm still looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom. I played Breath of the Wild one time. I played a lot of it, but I only played it one time however many years ago. So even if this is the exact same game, I'm so separated now from that content that I'm fine if it's just literally Breath of the Wild 2.0. But I'm not sure if people feel the same if they played Diablo 3 nonstop and now they're being thrown right into this exact same game.
I mean, 10 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
I mean,
I think
I will say real quick, just before I forget, a similar example on the other end of that. So Chaz, I'm sure you'll be familiar with this, but Destiny, right? We played all the way through Destiny 1. And we went through all those growing pains, and Destiny 1 finally got to, where we thought it should be. And then Destiny 2 comes out, and instead of them keeping the game how it was, where everybody was happy with it,
they pulled everything back away from you.
Everything changed about it. It felt like a completely different game. And for me, that kind of ruined it. The fact they changed so much. And I'd played Destiny pretty much nonstop for the first, X amount of years that it was out. So in that opinion, the fact they did change so much was a real big negative. So maybe it is better they kind of play it safe, at least for Diablo.
Yeah. I agree for the most part, but I do think from one iteration to the next, there has to at least there has to be 1 to 2 new, integral, maybe game mechanics, if you could say that. Like I feel like a game has to present 1 or 2 at least. Like, you could argue that the new Zelda, right, with the whole fusion type aspect, that is almost a whole, that's going to bring almost a whole new game experience to a large amount of people, simply because of the, all of all of the stuff you can do with that. Whereas with this Diablo 4, there isn't, for me at least, there isn't that one big, I mean, maybe you could argue it is the fact that it's just more online, more public eventy. It's, it's more of a game of, I don't want to say game service game, but
it probably is a live service. I mean, it's very much like in the line of a Destiny, right? It's not a true MMO. It's like MMO light. So
you could argue that's the one new mechanic or experience that's going to deliver people.
Which that could be a pretty big deal, to be honest. I mean, that changes the way the game plays at a very fundamental level. The fact that you can encounter just anybody in fairly large scale out there in the world, and also the open world mechanic. So I mean, that's brand new. You can go anywhere you want and tackle the story in a different way. So it seems like there's enough innovation here, at least from the offset that I can tell. So I'm not overly concerned it's going to be completely copy and paste. But
no, I'm gonna say it's not for sure. It definitely feels different. Even though it does play, obviously it plays like a Diablo game. Point and click, you get the enemies coming at you, you destroy whatever, what have you. But the good thing is that it something about it does feel different. It does feel different. It is not the same. And plus it has a more grittiness to it that's a lot different from the other one. Like you said before, it's a little more cartoony, blah blah blah. A little bit more less gritty. This one is really gritty, dark, like Diablo 2 style, like you said. Yeah. And I think that kind of brings back a little bit. It does feel different in a sense. So it's not gonna be. I'm glad it's not like the whole Destiny 1, Destiny 2 thing. I'm really, and that's a real extreme spectrum.
Oh, that Destiny during its latter end, during the Taken King, was really good. Like I was really enjoying everything, and then 2 came out, and they were like,
they dropped it.
Remember all that stuff.
It was a slightly different experience. Like with Diablo 3, I mean, the gameplay was pretty much consistent from the beginning. I think the issue with like Destiny, not to go on a big soapbox, but Destiny evolved a lot in the first couple of years, right? So it had finally got fixed, for lack of a better terminology, towards the end of it. So people were like, all right, the game is finally fixed. When the next one comes out, we're actually going to start with a good game. And they changed everything. So, yeah. So once again, not quite, apples to apples here, but you got to take the changes, I think, carefully, and what's a good way to say this? Don't completely reinvent the wheel. You got to keep that grounded foundation of what works, and then slowly iterate on it. You don't want
to reinvent the wheel, but new rims or hubcaps would look mighty fine.
New band-aids.
And it sounds like they've added that. And to be fair, I think it depends on the type of game.
Put some squishy dice
what kind of upgrades you need.
Front.
Like, like think about a game like Last of Us 1 and Last of Us 2. I'm not really looking for major gameplay upgrades or enhancements. I mean, if they have them, sure, and they did. I mean, Last of Us 2 did modernize the combat a little better, but that's not why you play those games, right? You play those games for the story and the narrative. But something like Diablo is a little bit different. There's a collection aspect of it. There's a power fantasy side of things. So the gameplay, I think, is a little more crucial there. So I think you're right. Keeping it fresh, keeping it interesting so people keep coming back. I think the biggest thing for any kind of Diablo-like game, though, is always going to be content. Like, that's what's going to keep people coming back. Like, as long as they have continuous, like, content that people can keep playing with, even if the game itself is pretty much the same, as long as there's new stuff to do in it, I think people will mostly be satisfied. I mean, people would still be playing 3 now, I'm sure. Well, they are still playing 3 now, but they'd probably be playing it till, the internet breaks if they kept throwing out new DLC and new upgrades and new, whatever they call bounty systems and stuff like that. So no.
I mean,
I agree with that.
A good example, Diablo Immortal. That's a great iteration on a good product.
It could have been. It could have been. It was.
I'm guilty. I didn't play it.
Don't you guys?
I couldn't do it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm really sad. I mean, and I didn't get into the monetization side of things, but I think everybody else around me who was playing it just dropped off because they were just so disheartened by it. My wife, who loves Diablo and was really starting to dig Immortal, I think when she realized, how much they wanted to suck money out of her, and she's one who will fall victim to that kind of stuff pretty easily. She made a very wise decision and took a step back, which I can definitely respect her for that. But I was then left there with no one to play with, so sad. Really praying that's not the case for this game. Doesn't look like it, but
hope not.
Who knows?
Yep, that's my take.
Oh, you wanna play a second character? $5. $5 a character.
$5.
$5.
Not that bad.
That's not that bad.
That would be $10 or $666.
6. Yeah, they should. No, they should. Wasn't there a game that? Oh, I just thought about it. I got that joke from. What was the Metal Gear? The crappy Metal Gear game that came out that Konami did after. Survive. That they got in trouble because they didn't get in trouble, but that's what they did is to make a character. I think it was like $3 or $4 if you wanted to make it other than the first one. That was a real thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But,
no bueno. You don't alienate your audience.
That's right there.
Oh no! Kojima was gone by then anyway, so I don't think anyone was. That's why.
It was a cash grab. They were trying to get as much money as they could off the IP while they thought they had a chance to, for better or for worse.
Yeah. It's all about Death Stranding.
Yeah. He's still making that game with Xbox. We still haven't heard anything new, any updates about that. He said I wouldn't want to work with them unless we were making something new, something fantastic. It's like, okay, let me know when you're done.
There's like 100 different major studios making Xbox games, but we don't know what any of them are.
I know.
Oh man.
Yep.
Poor Xbox.
Or
us.
I'm making a new game. It's called Metal Gear Solid 5 20.
Metal Gear, not solid. What's a
Metal Gear?
Metal Gear Soft.
Metal Gear Soft.
There
yes.
I don't want to know the subtitle. All right.
It went from solid to soft. Okay.
Oh no.
I see yours.
Change
Metal-
the topics.
I see
Metal
your.
Gear Flaccid. No.
Oh, you did it.
Uh,
Viagra edition.
Oh no. That's the DLC.
No.
Alrighty, so uncomfortably moving on, we're going into the speed run topics for this week. Okay, so let me pull that up. Alrighty, so we're gonna dive right into the first one. Gosh, we should have hashed this out. I think we added some right before. I didn't even add them to whatever you added.
I added a few links if you need to, but let's just see how far we get.
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely want to start off with this one. So here we go. I'm gonna hit the timer. There we go. And start. So Metal Gamer. Oh shoot, we'll get rid of that one. Metal Gamer. I don't know if you saw, but or you said you did get to catch up on it, right? Of the
I did.
The AG Onuma. Or is it Oinu? I can never say his name right.
Onuma.
Onuma.
Yeah, what'd you think? You got to
guy.
see the Zelda gameplay presentation. Did it blow your mind?
Well, my honest opinion.
No,
Yeah.
I want you to lie.
Want you to
It
lie?
was absolutely fantastic. Like I puckered when I saw it. Okay.
How else are we gonna get a brand deal with Nintendo? Come on.
Oh man, they don't even want to hire me. I've been trying to get them for 10 years.
My shill.
Anyway, so my opinion.
You hated it.
Okay, it's the same. I know it's not the same game. It looks exactly like
Looks the same, yeah.
Breath of the Wild. I think it, to me, like...
Majora's
So
Mask
they
looked
give-
like
they give-
Ocarina, and that's one of your favorites.
Well, okay, yes
Oh,
and no.
Hold on a second.
The art's, like, the style and, like, the tone of the game
Oh, that's
was
gritty.
very
They're gonna
different.
attack
Like, they
me
reused
now.
assets, but it felt like a different game.
Man,
This
when
game looks
It
the
looks,
same.
yeah.
like, down to, like, it seemed like the controls are almost the same. And I'm just like, wait a minute.
UI looked identical, too.
Yep, I was like, okay, so they added a couple of things here and there, and I'm like, that's a cool feature. You know, they had some cool features thought that could have been added as DLC. But other than that, it's okay. I like the floating islands is cool. I like the fact that, you know, if you're gonna be falling from the sky, it's almost like, you know, there's no loading time. Their loading time is falling. But it's really neat as far as that's. Other than that, it feels like the same game.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, I think that's going to hit you differently depending how much you have played Breath of the Wild. Like, for me, I played it once as soon as it came out. I played it probably for a good 80 to 100 hours. Like, I did a pretty in-depth run-through, and then I stopped and haven't touched it since. So now, going back, even if it is just literally Breath of the Wild 2.0, I'm probably still going to be okay with that for the most part. But if you are someone who has played the game non-stop for the past, 6 years or so, and you've tried to, you know, continually do more and more stuff in the Zelda sandbox, and now you're thrown pretty much right back into that same sandbox, it's hard to say if, at least what they've shown so far, is enough. Not saying it's not cool, is it enough?
Yeah.
And I think it too depends on what you're looking for in the game. Some people are going to want this to just be a sandbox update where you can do new stuff like they're showing. For me, they haven't showed what I want to see yet. I want to see if we're going to have some true
Real
dungeons,
dungeons.
some actual, like, new world design stuff, and I'm still holding out that's going to be the case. And once again, for me, that would do it. That would check off all the boxes I care about. But once again, people's, you know, attachment to Zelda is different. They look for different things. So
I'm wondering though, like, you know, seeing the trailer, I didn't see any of the shrines or any. There are shrines. They didn't
it's all
talk
such
about.
a small amount of the world, though, so you can't really say.
Well, I mean, those shrines are everywhere. Like in the other game, they were freaking everywhere. Like you could see them.
Yeah, but we didn't see much of this world. I don't know. Like, it's a big map.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, at least I can be able to play. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I'm guilty. I didn't finish the last one. Oh no, I can't just run in with my awesome armor and just destroy Ganon. I'm cool.
I don't think
maybe
they.
maybe I'll just do that.
I don't think it's known whether weapon. What is it? Weapon disintegration or weapon?
Oh yeah,
there.
he talked
It's
about
in
it.
It's
They
in there.
mentioned
Oh.
it like in the
mentioned
first
it.
like 2 minutes.
Did they
Yeah,
really?
he goes,
Oh, I didn't
You
hear.
can pick up a stick and then, oh, you notice a weapon degradation. Ugh. And it's
Yeah,
like,
like
oh,
his first stick broke as soon as he started hitting stuff.
yeah, which is interesting that he used a stick. I thought that was really funny. I was like, huh. But I guess he wanted to show that, you know, as simple as a stick can make a massive difference in your combat system. I think if anything, that's what I'm looking forward to. All the mix and match stuff, like for the fuse and, you know, recalls, whatever. That's from, what is it? What's the other game? Twilight Princess? No, Skyward Sword. Then they have like something that went back in time or something. Not in the same.
It had some time stuff. I don't recall it being just like that, but yeah.
Yeah, not in the same vein, but it was something similar. So they're using some of the stuff from that game, I'm sure. But
yep.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I didn't pre-order it because all the other pre-orders are gone.
And pre-order's a scam, so you don't.
Yeah,
nothing.
I don't need a plaque.
I kind of want that Zelda Switch.
Yeah, I saw that, and that looked pretty
sucked
nice,
into it, man. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, Phoenix has one.
No, I don't have any interest in getting another current Switch model until there's a Switch 2. There's no reason.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find it cheap, like 5 years from now at a yard sale, sure, but I'm not gonna buy it right now.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Hey, I used to find special edition consoles all the time. Granted, that was a different time, different life.
No, it was different. But
I won't say a lot more about the game only because we did our kind of run through.
I'm good.
Okay.
We talked
pretty much tapped upon a lot of the same stuff you guys said then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't found anything that's different. I look forward to playing it. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am gonna play it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm a sucker for Zelda games. I just hope that there's dungeons. Oh my gosh, if they have dungeons, I'm sold 100%. But if they broke it up again, I'm gonna be disappointed.
I don't mind if there's shrines. I didn't hate the shrines. I just didn't like that was the majority of your dungeon-like experience. And then the Divine Beast to me were just so lackluster. But.
Yeah, the thing with the Divine Beast is that you go through one and then you kind of got the rest. It's like
they're all the same kind of.
Yeah. So
either way, that's a different story or a different discussion.
Yep.
Okay, let's continue.
All right.
I know we have time.
Speed run topic numero dos. We're moving on to there was Pokemon Horizons. The series got announced. That apparently is the new iteration of Pokemon coming to television. That I guess since the death of Ash Ketchum, they're moving on.
Why did death?
After his horrible murder.
He was the last episode.
When Pikachu couldn't take it anymore and turned on him in the middle of the night.
Professor Oak and his mom buried him.
Oh no.
Professor Oak's probably his dad, right? I don't think he ever got. He had a dad.
Some rumors that. Well, I think his dad was supposed to like. I'm not going to go down rumor mill.
Oak was. He was oaking it.
Well, he was hanging out with the mom a lot. I don't know.
Showed her his
fine news, I guess. I don't know. I haven't watched the Pokemon anime since I was 11, 12, so it's been a while. Not that I have anything against it, but I don't know.
I'll probably watch a couple of episodes. I mean, but that's probably as far as I'll go. I never saw like the entire series. I never really. I'll be honest with you guys. I cared. Like in the beginning was cool. I got the concept, but it never really hit me the same way. I guess.
I think we're probably just thinking about our age difference just a little bit. And when Pokemon came out, like it hit my demographic dead on. Like I was the 10-year-old when Pokemon was released, so I literally was the kid they were marketing to.
You're not that much older than me.
Just a little. It's enough. I mean, you definitely, I think, caught kind of the follow-up generations. Like you were in the kind of
I was
fucked up.
A little younger.
Yeah, anybody younger, I think, would understand. But if you were a little older, I think you kind of just like, I don't know, it didn't click the same way because you were more mature. So you were all playing Final Fantasy VII and being cool. And
listen to all this.
Behind the bus.
Listen to all this. My generation's better than your generation. Generation sucks.
Yeah.
Point being, I mean, there's some nostalgia, I guess,
your
for
Digimon,
the show.
Pokemon.
Okay.
I don't know. I think this is fine. I don't really have an issue that they're moving on from Ash. That's probably a good thing at this point, but it's not gonna, ruffle my feathers one way or the other, to be honest. Hope it's a good show for those who enjoy it.
Yep. I agree.
Okay, so moving on to topic number 2. This is something that I know Phoenix. I don't know if he was taking advantage of for a little bit. Huh? Wait,
No,
What?
no. Well, you skipped, I think, like the most important topic.
Oh, go ahead, take it away then. I don't know.
Scott Pilgrim is getting an
Oh,
anime.
okay.
Yeah,
I don't
goodness.
have it here. Shoot, I missed it.
Yeah, you do.
It's right on the list. I'm looking at
I
it.
know.
Wow.
I didn't have the article for some reason.
Man, terrible podcast host.
I'm doing everything.
this-
Chill out.
So this is, for me, incredible. I think I've made it very well known on this podcast and probably every other forum I've had access to that I love Scott Pilgrim. It's like that cult classic that I will watch anytime it's on.
Forever.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, I love the movie. I also love the books. I mean, they're very different things. But this is really cool. So they're making an anime, which I believe is still being produced or directed, or Brian O'Malley, I know the creator of the manga or comic, has direct input in it. I think so does Edgar Wright, the director of the movie, and the entire voice cast is the
From the
movie
movie.
cast, which, man, that's just some fan service right there. And I think it's really cool because, I mean, I watched the movie before I read the books, and I mean, I think that's why it probably helped me like the movie more, because I didn't have the books to kind of reference. But going back and reading the books, there's a lot of stuff the movie just can't squeeze in. So there's definitely room to really flesh out a full anime. And I looked into some of the other.
I love on the website for Netflix. They have like a really cool trailer and stuff. I'm playing it right now. But.
Yeah, I see. But the art style for like I can't remember the animation house they said is going to run it, but the art style they use in a lot of their other animes is pretty cool, and I think will fit the Scott Pilgrim style really well. So I'm super excited about this. I mean, sure, it could probably be flat. Maybe it's just hitting on that nostalgic bone in my body, but I don't know. I'm digging this.
I don't
It
know,
almost,
man. I like it.
It almost makes me sad seeing some of these actors now. It's like, oh, it's so old. I'm getting
It
old.
doesn't matter.
What's real interesting is like how expensive are some of these guys now. Like you got Chris Evans on there. Who else do we got?
Elizabeth Winstead. She's
Yeah.
Michael Cera's been out. He's kind of been out
He's
of the
dipped a
limelight
little
for a little
bit.
bit. Anna Kendrick and Brie Larson are still huge. Aubrey Plaza's she's arguably the biggest one out of all of them now.
Well, I think Chris Evans is probably.
Chris Evans is the big.
Yeah.
Her and Chris Evans are big.
But yeah, I mean that's going to be an expensive paycheck they have to pay out to get all those voices back. But I'm glad someone's floating the bill. Well, I guess Netflix is floating the bill, but good on them. Maybe this will keep Netflix in my subscription library for a little bit longer. But
Yeah.
And then there is also, I think it's almost been, I don't know. We almost kind of know Anamanaguchi. We're getting some Anamanaguchi.
yeah,
Fresh
Edgar
music,
Wright
or is it
kind
just
of-
going to be the same music? I would assume new.
I would imagine it'll be, yeah, I'd imagine it'll probably a little bit of both, right? But I'm sure they'll have some new stuff in there. So that, to my knowledge, is not officially confirmed, but
We saw
there
a
was
tweet
a
or
tweet by
something.
Edgar Wright where they're like, hey, is Anamanaguchi going to get involved? And Edgar Wright was just like, I bet you'll be very happy. Snark, snark. So,
Oh
No,
man,
it's great.
it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times I saw the movie in the theaters when it came back. I don't
Yeah.
regret it. I don't regret it. I saw it like
it's
4
just
times.
such a fun movie. I mean,
I mean,
great
hell,
movie.
I think they even pulled it on in like freaking 3D again, and I saw it. I had to see it in 3D. I said, "Screw this! I don't care." I was by myself in the theater eating popcorn and watching all the coins fly in my face.
I'd go see Scott
It
Pilgrim
was
by myself. I
amazing.
wouldn't care.
Oh man, it was wonderful. That was fantastic. I'll see it again. If they pull that movie out again, I'll see it again.
All
I
right.
enjoyed every minute of it.
So,
what time we got?
a little under 2 minutes. So Phoenix,
that's long.
Microsoft says it has stopped Xbox Game Pass's $1 or $1 trial offer. I know you said you took advantage of it for a little bit.
I abused it. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal in general, but I know if they had this thing where if you bought like 3 years of gold and then you were able to jump to like a different country's Xbox account and then grab the dollar deal, it would convert all your gold over to Ultimate. So there was kind of a sneaky, skeezy way to utilize this to get like super cheap Ultimate for 3 years. That's what I did. So apparently that loophole is not going to be valid anymore. But oh well, I knew that was a loophole and it wasn't going to last forever. I
It
guess
lasted a hell of a lot of the time though.
yeah. I mean, what, 5 years at this point? Something
Easily,
like that. So
easily.
it's a shame for those who want to utilize it, but at the same time, I'm sure they'll have other promos. So
If there were any other these last three I have aren't super interesting. Is there anything else you guys had to kind of throw it in there? I know there's this Jonathan Majors arrest, which, what are you gonna say? I don't know.
It's hard to read that one. I'll tell you, I don't know how much you guys have read into the article. It could go either way. The fact that his lawyer
isn't it like he said? It's kind of he said, she said type stuff. Or...
Well, from what it sounds like, is there was an altercation. The cops got called, but because they're in New York and the way that their domestic dispute calls are handled, there's no way to drop the charges, even if the defendant wants to. It's now up to the state to do it, and they never do that. So, I mean, I know nothing about New York law in that regard, so maybe I'm completely off base, but I'd read something along those lines. So it could be that it was a misunderstanding, who knows, and now he's just kind of trapped in this, kind of cycle until someone eventually drops it, or maybe there's some truth to it. There's no way to really know. The fact that his lawyer was being so... Oh, there's our timer. I'll just say the fact that his lawyer was being so like, no, this was definitely a misunderstanding. It was definitely something the charges could be dropped immediately. Like, when they're usually that firm about it, there's usually something more to it. Like, typically, if there's a chance that they could be guilty, they're a lot cagier about their statements, right? They're like, we're gonna stand by our defendant, we believe blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just very vague kind of statements. They were super specific here, though, kind of coming back in. Nope, this was wrong, this shouldn't have happened, and that just seemed a little odd in this case. But I don't know. I think it'd be a shame if this does go poorly for him. I mean, honestly, this is kind of the only thing I think that the new MCU phase had going for it. Was Majors was kind of great. I think he's probably the best part of like what I've seen so far with Kang and whatnot. So losing him is going to be a hit, because that's what they've been trying to snowball, right? Is get Kang the Conqueror built up as the next big bad, and Majors was kind of it. So if they have to recast him, that's going to definitely throw a wrench in their plans.
So Kang 0, New York Justice System 1.
Maybe.
So I had another topic.
Rewind time.
A couple of the topics I had. Something Apple's now buy now, pay later thing. You guys said was a terrible idea. Worst idea I ever had.
Topic.
Well, I mean, there's so many other things that are better. So it's like they're just, like I said, they're just late on them. Yeah. They're just late.
And there's then also another big one has been a lot of the stuff go. Oh, we forgot about all the Sony stuff. The Last of Us. You said.
Oh, we didn't forget. We just ran out of time. That's the point. That's how this new speed run's going to work, right? We do as much as we can in 15 minutes, and we can talk faster next time.
Sony's having a rough go of it because they had that, and I don't know if you also know, but apparently the PSVR 2 sales are at, I think they said they only sold like 25,000 or 250,000 units
300.
When they were expecting like, I don't know, 1 million, 2 million or something.
I mean, they're selling that thing for stupid amounts of money. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't know how they thought that was gonna sell well.
It's freaking what, $500 is the same freaking price as a console.
Well, I've watched Angry Joe's done 2 or 3 videos of him buying one, and he's talked about, he's like reviewed it, and from what I understand, it's just like it's a ridiculously expensive product, and it's also like there's not much games on it yet. From what I understand, like I think the biggest game is Call of the Wild or whatever. It's a Horizon PSVR game, and apparently it's not very good or kind of boring. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll move on from that speedrun topics. So, I think that only leaves us with one other thing. That's our big main topic for this week. It was initially a speedrun topic, and I kind of talked these guys into possibly, doing something a little fun, because I don't know if you guys know, but apparently I think, Ubisoft backed out or said that they were no longer going to be a part of E3 2023. And I guess that essentially is the... your camera's off. Oh no.
Oh, you break something over there, chat?
How did that happen?
You stopped sharing your screen.
I did. You are correct. I wonder if I turn that back on. Will it come back?
Failure.
Shouldn't have fired me. I'm just kidding.
Oh no.
Wonka. Well, while you're doing that, if there was any other piece of that speedrun topic we can kind of elaborate on for just a minute.
Good.
Oh, so do you guys see the Steam Deck alternative by Asus?
It's pretty.
It's interesting looking. It's like all white and got like purpley buttons and the RGB back.
Man, I can see that getting so dirty really fast.
Yeah.
Man, too much Cheeto dust going all over that. All that lidocaine. Hell yeah. It's gonna get filthy. I mean,
guess they're
what's
saying
the
it
specs
will.
on it?
I'm trying to find. I mean, they're saying it's going to be able to run Windows 11, which I guess that's a good thing. I don't know. I mean, I think what probably helps the Steam Deck in a way is that it's running Steam OS, which is a lot more optimized, and it probably helps things run a little bit better. But I don't know. Windows 11 does make things more compatible with it, which is cool.
That's cool.
Okay, we're back on.
Okay. I don't know. Well, before
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I mean, I'm not seeing the specs too much, but do you think there's, room in this kind of a space for a Steam Deck competitor? Like, is this a good thing? Like, I know there's kind of like the cheap kind of third-party knockoffs are already kind of like a Steam Deck, but if they bring out a equally, I don't know, spec'd out product as a Steam Deck, well, I don't know, is that good? I mean, or do you just think, Steam Deck's where it's at and we should just keep kind of, supporting that until that's improved a little more?
I'm actually surprised that Asus is making such a bold move, because like Steam Deck is already like, it has its audience. It has like they've already dominated that whole entire space. Asus coming in and trying to like take a piece of that pie, that's gonna be something. I'm not sure if there's gonna be people. I don't know if there's gonna be people who are gonna want it. Maybe, did they say what price range they're gonna make it at?
I'm not seeing that. I'm trying to read back through. It says they definitely in their announcement did not reveal anything about specs, so that's already an issue. And yeah, I don't. Let's see. It just says if the price. So they definitely didn't even mention what the price is going to be, but it sounds like just from the description, people are assuming it's going to be fairly costly. So like, what price range would make this worth it, and like what kind of features would it need to have to make an increase in price relevant?
Gosh, I mean, to make it something that's even relatively like
right.
worth it, like 300.
So what would this have to do? Say this thing came in at 500. What would it need to do to warrant that kind of price sticker? Or is there anything it can do?
Man. Oh god, with that price, I mean, you might as well just get a Steam Deck at that point, because then it's like at least proprietary their software is gonna be, we already know the hardware already supports it. I've seen that thing, I've seen it in person. That thing is beast. Yeah. That stupid Steam Deck is awesome. Like my cousin has one, and it's really cool.
How much? What's the price point on? Is it 4?
I think it depends on which version you get. I think it's like what 3 to 400.
Oh, that's right. There's like a
depending
more
on
gigabyte
memory. Yeah. Like
300 is not a huge amount. Like even if it's a lower end, like it's got expandable memory, so I mean you can upgrade it. And I don't know. This just feels like it is a very bold move. Maybe they can find success there. Remember saying, I mean, competition's great, right? You should always have some competition in the marketplace that's going to be good for consumers. I don't know. I don't know if Asus is the company that's going to do it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Not that they don't make good products. I don't know. It's hard for me to really get behind this just yet. There's too many unknowns, I think.
I don't know. Philips CDI?
Philips CDI?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, there were other people try to do the same thing and they failed.
Isn't a Philips CDI like crazy expensive nowadays?
Oh yeah, I mean they're rare consoles. Yeah. I think what's weird about this too is the Steam Deck kind of already has a competitor-ish. Like you have your choices in this kind of market is either the Switch or the Steam Deck, and both of them really kind of
and
take care
mobile
of
is almost a total
audience.
different market. Or
mobile's completely different.
Yeah.
Like you have both of them are about comparably priced, right? They're both about 300. One's a little more casual. You got the Mario games, and it works for a very particular subset of users. And then for those quote unquote power PC users, the Steam Deck kind of fills that. So for a third person to come in here, I don't know. It feels a little crowded already. I don't know. I'm not saying there's not a space for it, but I'm just not sure if Asus is the one that's going to deliver it or not.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea, but I'm not sure. Like, if I saw it, I don't think I would run out to get it. Like,
I guess it will all depend. I mean, I guess we shouldn't be getting too hard on it until we see specs and see prices. But wasn't there another company that released something kind of like this? Oh no, that was that that Logitech cloud-based kind of deal.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I mean they announced it. Like Microsoft was kind of backing it because it was supposed to like stream Gamepass and all that kind of stuff. But it was like $400 or something, like, and it was cloud-based. That it made no sense to get that above the Steam Deck. This is going to have a very competitive price to make it even, potentially a option compared to the Steam Deck. But
Agreed.
Yeah, that's all I'll say.
Alrighty, so yeah, as I was saying before, there was big news that kind of happened over the break. I think, what was it? Ubisoft backed out of E3, so that basically means that none of like the major third-party companies are like willing to go through with having an event there. So I believe at this point, or did the ESA, they basically said E3 is not happening this year, pretty much.
It's definitely not happening this year. I mean, I don't know if they said if it's ever coming back. Waste their money, we're going to go ahead and just cancel the show, which, I mean, that's got to suck for those who were actually prepping stuff for the show, but you got to think there were probably a lot of like smaller third-party, maybe not third-party, but a lot of smaller developers that utilize E3 as a chance to kind of get a little bit of spotlight while people are running around to the big press conferences. They can skim by kind of the independent booth and learn about some new games and do some networking. And you gotta think a lot of them probably did put a lot of effort into prepping demos and prepping, merch and swag and all that kind of stuff. And now that's just kind of gone out the window. I know they were also saying, beyond just the big guys dropping, which I'm sure is the big reason they canceled, but a lot of companies were having a hard time actually getting demos ready for E3, which kind of seemed like some lip service. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's been a little more stringent. They were still saying that, based upon coming off COVID, developers were still having a hard time getting things ready and having something present. But I feel like if developers wanted to be there, they would have something to show. So I don't know. That seemed a little bit of lip service to me. So they didn't have to be like, nobody wants to come and see us. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, leading up to that, basically what we decided to do to kind of, I don't know, in memoriam of E3, we kind of wanted to come up with a tier list of some of our favorite and least favorite of moments from E3.
Most memorable.
Most memorable.
That's how it should be. These aren't necessarily, good moments or bad moments. They're just moments, right? That we will look back at E3 and we will remember these for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for these. I think some of these are... I guess I should say we probably don't have every major moment, but it's all the moments that we were able to kind of come up with, stuff that really stuck out to us. So, alrighty. So, what do you guys say we go ahead and dive in? So we're gonna move back over here. I think Phoenix prior said the audio should be good, so you guys should be able to hear as we kind of go through. So moment number 1, we have what was it? This was the Zelda Twilight Princess announcement. Oh gosh, I had the years on here. I have it in my...
That one was like 2000 and...
I'll bring it up. I have it here.
This was GameCube, right? It was Twilight Princess.
Yeah, 2000.
And it was their reveal.
2004.
So like the Wii yeah, I was about to say the Wii came out like what, 2005, 2006. This might have been a couple of years before it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So here we go.
This is
But before you leave, I'd like you to step inside one more world for Nintendo GameCube.
And it was cool. They showed gameplay. Everyone's freaking out. And then the
you
big...
gotta think about why this was such a big deal too. Like coming out of Wind Waker, people have been wanting this realistic Zelda, and this was it. They had been delivered finally what they've been asking for so long.
And
so
then
that was a big deal. And then of course,
here he is.
There
the
it is.
man, the legend.
I mean, that was pretty epic. Like, you watch that, and it makes your freaking skin crawl. That thing looks so amazing.
Got the smoke machines going.
Like, it was so corny, but it was so amazing. All of this, wearing a Mario shirt, no doubt. Like hands down, just swag central with a legitimate sword and shield on top of that.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. And it wasn't even like a long presentation. It was very short and sweet, and he was off the stage. It's like, dude.
And this is what E3 was so good about. And this is why I'm still sad it's gone. Like, E3 wasn't just about, oh, I'm announcing a game, right? it was a celebration of that game, the developers behind it. You had like these moments we could celebrate it with the developers. They'd worked so hard to
talking about
create and deliver something.
E3's all about selling Mountain Dew and Doritos.
Maybe that's what it became. I don't know, but I am still sad E3's not a thing. I understand all the arguments that it's not relevant. There's better ways to market, and that's all true. But you don't get these celebrations anymore. So I don't know. I'm sad.
All right. So where we got S, A, B, C, and D. So where do you guys think Miyamoto? I think this has got to be an S.
Yeah, like I'm hesitant to throw it that high so early on, but
it wasn't.
We can always reevaluate, right? We'll kind of rank them, and at the end we can adjust. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's an epic moment.
Yeah, I'd say S for now. I'm trying to think if there's anything really that is gonna beat it. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I mean, holding a sword and shield and being the guy that made the game. I mean, that's pretty epic. And he spoke English. He didn't have a translator. He spoke English and he made the effort. So,
all right.
I mean, gotta give that guy that much credit.
I like where that's at. Moment number 2, we have from E3's 2006 Sony's press conference, where they were kind of lambasted by announcing the price for the PlayStation 3 at the time, which shoot, I need to go a little. Oh, so it ended up being $499, $599. Yeah.
Yep.
I think what is so
149
great.
Canadian dollars. And the 60
I just want to hear their sound.
For
It's not
$599
playing,
US dollars, $659
hear it.
Canadian.
I want to hear the
PlayStation
reaction.
3 will be available in Europe and Australasia on November 17th, 2006. We will sell the 20 gigabyte PlayStation 3 for 499 euros and
we
the
missed
60
it, but-
gigabyte in North America, November
Do you even
17th,
have the sound?
2006.
You don't hear it?
The 20 gigabyte PlayStation
No, we
3
hear
will
it. I hear
retail
it.
for
Oh,
$499
there it is.
US
Take it.
dollars and 549 Canadian dollars.
But yeah, essentially, you kind of hear the.
There's just no enthusiasm. Everybody's just like shock and all like. I think what's so funny about this is like exact opposite of what Sony does in another moment we'll see in just a little bit. They go on this extreme of making this super expensive, out of touch price point. And this, I'll tell you, this is the thing about Sony, and it's nothing even about like PlayStation as a brand. I think Sony sometimes they have some arrogance to them. When they do well, it kind of just, I think, lifts them up a little too much, and they make some decisions thinking like, everybody's just kind of do what we tell them to, because we're Sony, and these are the moments where I think it really bites them in the butt. So I don't know. I felt a little bit of that going into the PS5 generation. I don't know if you guys got that same feel, but I don't know.
I've been happy with the PS5. I mean.
Oh no, I love the PS5 is a great console, but they had made some decisions early on. I'm trying to think back now, but it felt kind of like this era of Sony, where they're a little snobby, a little resting on their laurel kind of thing. And
I got it from the look of the console. When it first got announced, I was like,
they had some policy stuff they had mentioned early on. It slipped my mind now. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but I'm saying this is very Sony. They definitely can do some amazing things, and then they can do some really crappy things. But it's very out of touch with their consumer base for whatever reason. So anyways.
So where do we want to put that price point? I remember it being a kind of, I would say, maybe a B. Like, I remember it being a big deal at the time. I don't think it's really a moment most people super remember.
I'd say C, honestly.
B, C. What do you think?
Like, I mean, it's something I remember. It's less, though, I think the moment E3 is just, I don't know, like, historically thinking back about, the PS3 and kind of its really awkward kind of release and kind of, it fell flat really quickly, right? I mean, it spiked initially because everybody wanted a PS3 because it was a new thing, but then it just, first couple of years was really, really rough for Sony during that time. So, I mean, I'm sure this was kind of the kickoff for that with E3, but when I think about this, I think about just that whole first couple of years of PlayStation. So, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, with all the software issues it was having and all within the
games wouldn't run well on it, like multi-platform stuff. Like, Sony just was really in a rough spot here. So, I don't know. The moment itself to me, it's important, but it's not a moment that I'm like, whoa, E3. So, I don't know. I'd say C for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, what do you think, Gamer? Did you say?
Yeah, C is fine. and that seems to be a good range for it.
Okay.
That price point's ridiculous.
Of course, now, I mean, that's what the PlayStation is now, right? $499. Granted, account for inflation, et cetera, but
they're not nearly having as many issues now than they were before. So they've learned a lot since then.
Some to an extent.
Kind of,
I don't know.
kind of.
We need to go back. I need to figure out, find some of those statements they had early on in the PS5 generation, and we should have a, I don't know, some kind of discussion about the state of Sony and Microsoft and kind of where they're at in the ecosystem. But
No.
That sounds fun. So this moment was one I didn't remember. This is something one of you guys threw in, and after watching it, I see why you placed it in there.
Oh, it's awful. Have fun.
Here we go. So this is some sort of, I think it's so it says Rock Revolution E3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're just playing really bad.
Oh man.
And they're supposed to be like advertising the new gen of like music game.
Oh my god, it's so cringy.
He's got his eyes closed. He's not looking at the crowd. He's like, please don't see me. Please don't see me.
He just wants the whole thing to end already.
Although I get it. He's looking at a monitor on the floor. But...
yeah. I mean, it's cringy. I don't know, but it's just.
But
it's
man,
boring. I mean,
in front of
playing.
people, I mean,
it doesn't help that it's like an absolutely horrible rendition of Blitzkrieg Pop 2. Like that's
Yeah, they didn't have the master for it. Rock Revolution was like the bottom band or bargain bin rock band. It was a little rough.
yeah. Ugh, so awful.
okay. So
Yeah.
so
What a
where do we
bad
want to
moment.
put that one?
Ugh, it's so awful.
It's not super memorable
It's
to
not
me
super
though. Like,
That's like a
it
series.
was bad. Like it was awkward and definitely had that E3 cringe of people being up there playing a game who, man, they just don't look good playing a game. But it doesn't help me remember E3 or like I don't know. That's kind of what I'm gauging this off of is what is like a big E3 memory, and for me that's just like
I think it's D.
It was cringe.
I think it's D.
Yeah, I'd say D.
That sounds fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
There's other musical performances that are far more.
Oh yeah.
memorable.
There's one or two on here.
Oh yeah.
All right, so next we're going to move on to... Actually, I'll switch back. This next one is the... Oh, gosh. I wish... I had the years on them, but it's all on the notes. So this is the famous My Body Is Ready by Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, so... Gosh, what year was this?
I can pull it up.
Like
You just do your thing.
2000 and change,
2007.
2007, so this is...
that's around the Wii, when the Wii board came out.
Well,
when
so
they
this
did
is a
Wii Fit.
couple years into his running of them, because he was in 2004 or 2003 or something. Oh shoot, I should probably. Okay.
My body is ready.
Yes.
I like how no one knows how
I
to.
think it's just because it just hits
So
so
good.
slowly. They're like, what did he just say?
So good.
It was just awkward for the next like 3 minutes.
My body is ready.
It's like people caught it afterwards.
Yeah.
People were like, wait, what?
Okay, Reggie, please stand on the Wii balance board.
I just think it's funny because it looks like he kind of just said that on the fly.
I'm sure he did. Like this feels like a very unrehearsed kind of moment. It just, man, I don't think anybody had any idea what this was going to be. Like the memes that would spiral out of this. So this to me is a pretty big moment. I mean, it's small. It's less maybe about the E3 moment. It's just like this became like a cultural just thing for video games, right? Like we're still using that reference and using that meme. So
we say it all the
it's like
time.
A to me. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if it's quite S, but I'd definitely give it an A.
That's not S tier.
I'd say
it's
A.
damn up there.
It's S tier in terms of the memes, but in terms of the moment, I think it's an A. Yeah.
It's so fast. It's such a fast moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, an A. A works for me.
Okay. So, gosh, we're gonna move on to this one. So another again, I didn't really put these in order. I didn't. I think I unintentionally randomized them, but so we have another music-oriented one here. So this is the Wii Music E3. I remember watching this live, and this is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Hey, but they're getting far more into it than the Rock Revolution guys. So,
I agree.
You know, they get some points for me just for that.
Well, what sucks is that Wii Music was a good game. So this moment kind of...
No, it wasn't.
I liked Wii Music. You didn't like it?
It was fun.
It was too simplistic. Like, it was like the drums was probably the best part of it, but every other instrument was really just lackluster, especially when you could play something like Rock Band or Guitar Hero or something like that. Like, this honestly felt like, you know how so many companies at the time were trying to chase Nintendo with their motion controls? Like, yeah, Nintendo have to, oh, not Nintendo, Sony had to have the Move, and Xbox had to have the Kinect. This feels like Nintendo chasing the music kind of, you know, boom that happened with Rock Band. And I don't know, it just felt really flat. But I don't know. I did not enjoy Wii Music. The presentation, I get a couple of chuckles out of, but the game, ooh, no.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna give that like a D.
So Wii Music.
Well,
I'd say
we already put a D in there. We already put Rock Revolution.
Oh, did we? Oh, yeah.
I'd say this is a B. The cringe level on this is very high.
I'm gonna give it a C.
So
kinda
that
right
would
in
be
the
a
middle.
C. Okay.
Yeah, like I don't. It has to be, I think, more memorable than Rock Revolution.
Okay.
But not by much.
Yeah, I can't stick Nintendo that low right now. Not with that.
Well, I'll stick Nintendo low. I mean, I have no shame, no shame,
They have some bad.
no loyalties.
Well, this next moment, I didn't even remember this. So this was something totally almost new for me. So this was some sort of, you said it's
I remember this.
Wii Vitality Sensor.
It did not go anywhere.
Well, I remember the sensor.
I don't remember
I don't
anything.
remember
I don't even
cringy
remember
about
the
the
sensor.
announcement, though. Is your issue just that it was nothing came of it, or is it the moment?
The moment of it is, it's so weird because it's like, when you think about it, I don't even think the audience got what the hell was going on. They were just like, wait, what?
It's just for like people with diabetes, right? Just to diabetics to keep up with their.
Is that what you got from this, Chaz?
I don't know.
But this kind of
It's like,
feels
Or is
like
it blood
to me-
like blood pressure?
Yeah, well, check your like heart rate and stuff like that for diabetes. I just clicked what you said.
It pricks you, and then the blood
gonna
goes into
have
the
a
controller.
It's gonna suck your blood into the Wii.
like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It cuts your it cuts
Sugar
your
levels.
it cuts your fingernail.
Pretty funny, actually.
It holds the
It's pretty
fit.
great.
The lawsuits, the headlines, Nintendo's console maims children by poking them. Kids will be sticking things in those vitality sensors they shouldn't.
Oh my gosh.
All right, this moment's
No,
not that great.
This is so bad.
This I think is interesting because this kind of harkens back, I think, to like what E3 was originally supposed to be, which was like not a consumer show but an industry show. So like this would have been something they would have done to like show other industries, like, hey, we have this new piece of hardware that might market to different demographics, or that might be even scoped outside the gaming industry, right? Like Kinect is used outside the gaming industry. So this feels like something that would have been right at home in like late
GDC.
90s, early 2000s, GDC, or even early E3 when it was like a industry expo. I think what makes it feel really weird now is this is when E3 really started to get consumery, and people looked at it like a presentation kind of show where they're looking for spectacle and awe, and this just didn't fit that for a lot of people. So I don't know. It's interesting.
They could have they could have advertised it as the first game device that maims you, harms you.
It's probably not though.
Oh yeah. All
Oh my
right.
gosh.
So where do we want to put this? I think this is D.
I'd probably put D.
This is a D.
Like if we were ranking the hardware, it might be a little different, but I don't know. As a moment, it's pretty low.
So what do you think, gamer? We got two Ds.
Yeah, it's a D. D's nuts.
No.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
I tried.
Oh my
I tried to
gosh.
add an F category, and they wouldn't let me. So D's as low as it gets here.
Oh, really?
Indeed, indubitably. All right. So moving on to this is the Portal event. Oh gosh, here. What year was this? So I have to keep switching over to my
2010.
notes.
2010.
It says right there on the video that you just clicked
Oh
on.
shoot! I didn't even look there.
You're not paying attention.
Wah,
Put down the snap, bro.
Leave me alone. I'll snap all day. All right. So here we go.
2, 1.
This is really cool though. Me and Phoenix
This is
big
a big
on
moment.
Portal.
Yep. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
I think it's
Look at him
less
walking in.
about it being Portal,
It's
and it's
more
like
about
Gabe
Gabe.
Newell
Showed
is
up to
standing on
something.
stage for not for something, for a
No.
console.
Yep. Which is unusual.
He's pretty recluse though. I think it's a big deal. He just showed up to anything.
Well, yeah, but it's really like, he was such a proponent for it being all about PC. He always talked about the like limitations of consoles and you wouldn't develop for them unless there was a reason to.
If I seem a little nervous, it's because Kevin Butler was introduced to me backstage as the VP of sharpening things.
He chose a heck of a console to show up for PS3.
From entertainment as a product to entertainment as a service.
All right, but you
And I
get
think
it.
what's interesting is I feel I could be wrong,
Long time.
but I know Valve had issues developing for the PS3 too, or well, everybody did. But I feel
Everyone,
like when the orange
yeah.
box came out, man, it didn't run well at all on PS3. Like it was almost unplayable. So the fact that they brought him back and got him on board for Portal 2 is kind of their flagship console to kind of advertise it on, I think is interesting. So
Yep. That was huge.
yeah.
I remember that being massive. I was like, oh my god. Not only did I like Portal, but Gabe was just standing there being all like,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, it's interesting. You haven't seen him make that kind of partnership or that kind of stand since, right? Like that was a mistake. So I think that's kind of interesting.
I think this is probably like a B. I'm feeling a B on this one.
That was pretty memorable.
Like it was just
I'll give
cool
you
to
a
see
B
Gabe
for this.
Newell at something.
I think the fact he was there for a console is a pretty big deal. So yeah, I'll give it a B.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, never seen him ever again. I thought.
He's living out New Zealand now. He's like, forget the rest of the world. I don't need to be over there.
Yeah, he's done.
He rode off into the sunset, never to be seen again.
I don't blame him, man. I want to go to New Zealand and just stay there.
I want to live in this tire.
You have too much work to do.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I want to quit everything, go to New Zealand, man.
Do it.
I've always wanted to go. I think that's where they recorded The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just said that.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh, shoot.
He's still playing
Yeah.
Snap in his other hand.
I know, you're going to have to stop. You're going to have to snap.
I said I was tired. The coffee's not working.
Coffee never works.
It works for like 20 minutes and then it
Doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
I'm immune to caffeine now.
All right, so we're moving on to 2015. This was the big Bethesda event where they got to. I remember it was a huge deal. We all watched it. I think over at your house, Phoenix.
This was their first time they had like their own standalone event, right?
I think
Wasn't
so.
This when they announced Fallout 4? Is that what I'm thinking of?
It was
Yeah.
Fallout 4, yeah. And I mean, this was a long event. I won't play everything, but yeah, like you had Todd Howard come up on stage, and he got to show off all the cool gameplay. And I remember the customization was a big deal. I don't know. This was one of those events where like Todd Howard's kind of become known for this, sometimes for good and sometimes for bad. But like he keeps introducing a new thing, and I remember this every like 5-10 minutes he would be like, "But wait, there's more." You know what I mean? And it was a really cool event. Of course, Fallout 4, in my opinion, I don't know if it lived up to the to the hype completely,
I really
but it was
enjoyed
fun.
Fallout 4 for what it was. Like, I can understand all the criticism about it, but I liked it. I think this was like before. I think Todd had really had a big miss, or I should say Bethesda had a big miss, right? Like everything they had done up to that point just kind of kept building the hype. You had Morrowind, you had Fallout 3 and all of that. Skyrim was huge. So this was kind of like the peak of potential Bethesda. So I think there was just a lot of hype around this. Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to think of like the impact of it as a big E3 moment though. Is I don't know, really resonating with me. I mean, I was excited about it.
Maybe it was just for me personally. I thought because yeah, you got the collectible with the Pip-Boy that was there, and then they announced Fallout Shelter at the end.
This was big.
Yeah. All right.
Did you care, Metal?
I mean, I ended up getting it. So,
Well, what about this E3 presentation? Is this something that when you think about E3, the Bethesda Bethesda showcase pops to your mind?
It didn't really hit me as much. Like,
Oh,
I guess,
whatever.
like, because I enjoy the Fallout games. I'm not saying I don't. I think if it would have been like, oh, Skyrim 6, it would have been completely different. Or like, Elder
I think
Scrolls.
that's true. Like, people love Fallout, but if we're trying to compare this to other big game reveals at E3, this doesn't come anywhere close. Yeah. Like, the Twilight Princess one was huge. I remember the Halo 3 one. I don't think we have that on the list, but the Halo 3, like, reveal was huge. Halo 2 was huge. Like, those kind of games, like, feel very weighty and iconic. Fallout 4 is just like, this is neat.
Halo 2 and 3, I remember more the hype and fervor for those games more outside of E3, because I don't think I was paying attention to E3 at that time. Not that there's a lot of events here that I necessarily wasn't paying attention to E3, but like I remember the fervor like at school, like out and about with friends.
I think the reason I remember Halo 3 at E3 was I was originally watching it on, I think, G4 at the time, and they were getting ready to go to commercial break, and you hear Adam Sessler in the back be like, don't go to break, they're about to reveal Halo 3, which is like the main reason I was waiting around for, and the G4 execs were just like, nope. They go to commercial right then, and you just hear Sessler screaming in the background, and something about that that was pretty funny to me. So, anyways. I don't know.
Everyone loves Adam Sessler.
I wanted to love Adam Sessler until they came back. So that's G4 as a whole.
He was real cool back in the day. He's gotten a little wacky lately.
So where are we ranking this one?
Yep.
C. I'll say C. And I like Bethesda, so it's, you know.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the C. I mean, I guess for me it may have been just a personal taste, I guess.
I don't disagree. I mean, I enjoyed that, and it was a big deal thing for us. Like, ooh, we love Bethesda. Ooh, it's about to come out their first big showcase, but now the impact just feels like a little
kind of flat.
Honestly, I think the bigger moments for him, like the Fallout 76 reveal, and that just what that all entailed. Like, to me, that is more memorable for
16
maybe the wrong
times
reasons.
the detail.
I know just how poorly that aged, but anyway.
Oh, I should have made that like a dual parter. Like that should have been combined with this one. I didn't even think about that.
Bookend, right?
No. All right, so moving on to another super memorable moment.
I loved this. I loved this so much.
This is one of my favorites. The bananas.
This was just like when they were just like owning, like, I don't know.
They were owning the E3. Like, they were just like, you know what, we're going to do the most wackiest thing possible. And
they were just playing into, I don't know, the whole Nintendo side of things. Like,
yeah, that's awesome. Like, that's epic.
Oh, it makes me so sad. Because, you know, Iwata. But
Iwata was behind all this, you know. They were
Reggie's Muppet face, man. Something about that. He's got this Chad face on.
He has that Jay Leno
chin. Like,
Doug Bowser, he just doesn't. He's not memeable. He's not as meme worthy.
He's a business guy. Like,
I think this is great because this just shows like how much fun Nintendo has about stuff like this. Like, they put so much effort into something so cheesy, but it's so great. And then it harkens back to like the old school, Star Fox puppetry.
This is great. Like, this is amazing.
It is great.
This is great.
This is one of the better ones, and that was the same year as the
You
previous
should play
one.
the rest of it.
Oh, sure. That was the same year as the Bethesda showcase, 2015.
I think what was so interesting too is like Nintendo was so confident during this time, and this was their Wii U time. They were trying so hard.
I mean, my gosh. Someone owns those things.
It's probably Reggie.
Yeah, probably.
I'd love to own those things. Put them right on the
So
show.
ridiculous.
Hey, Fox, do a barrel roll.
What did he say?
Come on, Fox, do a barrel roll. Barrel roll. I can do this.
It sounded like he said something else.
I know.
This is the way.
No, get out of here,
Oh.
Mando.
Gonna get us demonetized.
That was pretty epic.
Oh, is it
I don't
S
know, man.
or is
That
it
was-
A?
I don't know.
Is
You
it
know what?
is it better than the Miyamoto? Or is it equivalent? I don't know.
I think it's got to be A. I don't think this is
I
an
think
S.
A.
Man, okay, yeah, we'll go with the
Like
name.
I love it, but it doesn't have I think the cultural impact that the Miyamoto Zelda reveal had. But this was so much fun.
Definitely. All right, so moving on to the next one. This one, I remember, it was kind of a flash in the pan, but I remember when it first initially happened, it was like super embarrassing. Do you guys remember? This was the Uncharted 4 at or same year. We have
Controller
three.
battery died.
Yeah, 2015s.
Uncharted.
Oh, this one's loud. But yeah, like right when the where is it?
It's just so anticlimactic.
There it
Like
is.
it's moving, it's going. Everybody's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be great." And then Nathan's just like, "Oh, we're just gonna take a little break."
It's so funny.
Great. They have the epic music in the background.
I think it was great 'cause we
Use your
didn't see
keyboard.
any of this, like when you're watching it. So we just literally saw Nathan Drake just standing there on screen for however long. So
So yeah, I mean,
Oh my gosh.
looking back, probably not as cringy as I remember. But when you're younger, it feels worse. But it's like, dude, it was his controller died. I mean, whatever, you know.
Well, even then, like, you know, for an event like this, you would expect them to have a controller that's fully powered. Like, come on, get out of here. Like, really, have them charged.
No.
well,
Like,
I mean, you would hope so, but I'll tell you, there's so many things so many moving pieces of events like this that you know how easy it is to let little things just slip by.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when I'm like prepping for like programs and presentations, I can tell you the stupid little things I forget to do, and I'm like, well, crap. So, I get it. I don't know where to rank that one. I think if it didn't go over so well afterwards, it would have been a bigger issue or a bigger deal. But yeah, he just got new batteries, and the rest of the presentation went off without a hitch. So I don't know.
All right, sorry, I was
Maybe a C.
focused getting the next one set up. Okay.
It's like middle.
Yeah, I don't want to say a D because that means I'm putting it in Rock Revolution territory, and I can't do that. But
I think it's a C.
I'll give it a C.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one is one I actually really I don't know. I'm sure you guys can connect having created a video game before, working I guess somewhat in the industry, right?
No, it doesn't count, Chaz. I appreciate it.
I think it does.
No, you're too kind.
So yeah, so we're gonna move on to this was I don't remember what his name was. I remember Miyamoto just calling him David Isan. So David something, but he was the creative director of the first Mario & Rabbids game, and well, but yeah, just kind of a sad, not sad,
This is the one
but
that he
a very,
cried, right?
yeah, he's just crying because Miyamoto's introducing his game at
getting
a
recognition from a childhood hero for doing a good job. Well, that's a big deal.
When I met Davide-san, I had just one condition.
This is just like one of those super wholesome moments that you don't get enough of.
yeah, it's Miyamoto, talking about you. I don't know. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, what bigger iconic figure is there in the game industry? Like, I can't think of anybody. If you're thinking about like 8 developers, so for him to give you an accolade, yeah, that would hit me right here.
I agree.
Yeah, and that was like the biggest thing from that event. I remember anyone was kind of talking about there. No, you hush up. your turn's coming.
I'll give that an A. I think it's an A.
That's pretty.
I can't believe the whistle guy jumped in there. Flute man.
What's my turn?
I should not cover him just for that. Yeah, I think A. A's good. All right, so A for that one, and yeah. All right, now you can go ahead. Just
I honestly
freaking flute guy goes
didn't
to
remember
Tsushima.
this guy. I mean, I remember now I'm looking at him.
It really wasn't just a him. I think it was kind of this whole music
presentation.
aspect. Yeah.
Because like they showed like 2 or 3 games, but like 90% of this was music performances. Like you had, if I recall, this is also where they had the I can't remember his name. I feel a little bad, but the guy who did the theme for Last of Us, he played like that entire song, like 6 or 7 minutes of it, with like orchestration before the Last of Us preview came out. Which I don't know. This is Sony being very Sony. I don't know.
Very.
Yeah.
Trying to own it.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough for you.
Here's the thing, it's cool. I mean, I think it's neat from a performance standpoint, but it's just, once again, Sony not quite reading their audience well, thinking that this is what their audience is going to care about, when really they're just like, show me the game. Ghost of Tsushima, by the way, amazing game.
Never got
if
to
you
play
haven't played it. I'll let you borrow my copy whenever you want. Like,
I think I own a copy on PS4.
You should play it then. Like, I was getting burnt out on like open world stuff, but this game brought me back in. It's a good one. So.
Yeah. Also, I could be wrong. I think that was the last 2018. That was the last Sony attended E3.
Was it still officially E3 for them though? Like, or were they already?
I think they were already
in.
They were already in the process. I think of like breaking away.
I think almost all of them had, except for Microsoft. But even Microsoft was in like a separate building.
I think that's the case for this one too. Is they were in a separate building, but they were at E3.
Not involved with. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. This was a very weird time to be at E3 and not be at E3. Like, even that Muppet thing we saw from Nintendo, they weren't technically part of E3. No. That was like part of their direct stuff. So
this is around the time when things, like, yeah.
Yeah, this is 2018. So these were the last couple of good years you still kind of had with E3, and then you hit the pandemic, and then it was just done. So. What would I rank this as?
I mean, it's definitely not a D.
I think it's.
I mean, I'll give that guy some credit for standing up there by himself playing that thing.
I'll give it a B. I feel like our B category is a little light.
I would say C. So what do we got? 1 C, 1 B, and what else?
Metal just said not a D, so could be a C. Like, it's hard because it's not a bad moment. Granted, we're not ranking these on how good or bad they are. Like, D does not mean bad. It's
to me, it's super memorable. Just because of the event itself.
Yeah, like the memorableness or the impactfulness. I think it's kind of what we're gauging it on, right?
I would say B. I think B sounds good.
Yeah, because I do remember this. This does stand out as a very awkward, weird show that just kind of reminds me of, man, Sony is Sony sometimes. I'd give it B.
I'll give it a B.
I just remembered. I forgot another thing was that that lady that worked on the Ghostwire Tokyo. I totally forgot to add her in here.
She became a little mini star.
For a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so next, I think this one for me is already going to be an S simply because of I don't know how cool I thought it was at the time. But next was the Cyberpunk. This was Keanu, the big Keanu moment.
Oh yeah.
Let me switch over. Booyah! Get out of here, Flute Man.
You don't want to watch that for another 45 minutes?
Oh,
I need this hydro boost.
Commercial. Get out of here.
Give him free advertisement to Neutrogena.
Shoot. I had the timestamp. Oh, here it is.
We have a city to burn.
Wake up, samurai. What?
It was so epic. That was such an epic moment.
Was this the first time people realized he was even in the game?
Yeah. Nobody knew he was in the game.
So, yeah.
This was the, what was it? You're a breathtaker. No, you're a breathtaker.
I thought I remember it being a little bit awkward because he's never done something like this before.
Oh, it was awkward.
It was like super awkward.
Keanu is always a little awkward in any kind of like public appearance, so I don't know if you've noticed that. He's a little off.
All right. 2077. All right. A while back, the guys from
I definitely liked it. I thought it was cool just because Keanu was at a E3. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Oh, I forgot to add. I just remembered the Rock one. That's the one I missed. The Rock.
Has he said it yet? Hold on.
Vast open world with a branching storyline. How you'd be able to customize your character through in-game choices. And it's not something
You're trying to get the breathtaker.
Yeah, I gotta hear it.
And I'm always drawn to fascinating stories.
Like, has it already happened? It might happen pretty
I
quick.
skipped ahead a little bit. Oh no, I think it's right here. It's like right here.
Set in a metropolis of the future, where body modification has become an obsession. You play as an
He's hamming it up. He has no idea what he's doing.
The sleazy underbelly of the city.
There's so much keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here.
He doesn't know what he's doing. It's great.
Let me tell you.
It's right here, I think.
The feeling of being there, of walking the streets of the future, is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking.
Almost falls over.
He clearly was super. He was super drunk. I think he said he was. Yeah.
He probably had to take a couple of shots or something, like easily.
Yeah, that's what those shows are, right? Half of them were just getting blitzed behind the stage, so.
Epic.
All right, that's S tier for me. Like,
I think so too.
Freaking guy.
It was so cool, even if the game was whatever.
Because it's just one of those moments that came out of nowhere. As I was cool with the Miyamoto moment, right? He just kind of popped out of nowhere, so.
And then left.
Yep, and a puff of smoke. Yeah.
I agree. I think S is Cyberpunk.
He said it like 4 times, 5 times.
All right, so we're gonna move on to. I think this is the oldest event that we got that happened here.
This I think was the first E3.
Yeah, so this is
1995.
1995. I was a tiny little young ChazmaN then.
I thought you were sperm.
Chazbrio.
Chazbrio. This is where he walks up and says his thing and gets out of there.
Super sterile, just business show. That was it.
$2.99.
$2.99.
Sony being Sony, man.
$2.99. Walks off the stage. Done.
Well,
like,
that was.
He couldn't even say that himself.
That was almost the beauty of the early days, though, because like we've talked about it ad nauseum. But yeah, it started off as a trade show where it was companies trying to sell products to other storefronts. They're trying to get their products onto shelves, and it's like I mean, obviously you don't have to do that anymore. So it just became a
a spectacle.
A spectacle,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, this moment what I think is so interesting is, I mean, clearly Sony's the good guy here, right? Because they're undercutting Sega because they announced their console.
And that was for the Saturn, right? Which we all know where that goes.
Yeah. But it's just this thing, cause like, so everybody's like, oh yeah, Sony's these amazing consumer-friendly guys making the cheaper console, and then fast forward 10 years to the PS3, $499. Like, they get super arrogant, just kind of forget, like, they forget these moments and forget like what people actually were like. Yeah, go Sony.
Yeah.
That's why I always feel like they either get very arrogant or they rest on their laurels or something. That Sony is Sony, which I don't know, is what it is. But I don't know. I thought this was an interesting moment that I never watched this E3 live because I don't think you could back then. It wasn't something that consumers could go to.
I seriously doubt. Yeah.
But I remember coming across this clip a long time ago and it leaving a pretty big impact. So.
I mean, they had the Sega right beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it does.
Oh.
It's bad.
Okay.
I'll give it a B.
Sure. I mean,
I think
that
a B.
became one of my favorite consoles for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, PlayStation, incredible console. Like,
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one. This is. I didn't remember this one, but it was hilarious.
Ridge Racer.
Some of you, and I'm sure you're dating yourself by saying that you remember.
I
don't know if you remember because I'm not a very good player even there. Game is powered by Namco. It's Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer. Remember that one? All right, so let me go right ahead, get right into the game. For this,
I like how he says, "All right."
It's actually not as bad. Like
opening. This was actually
because he kind of moves past it pretty quick.
Well, when it was loading the game.
It's like, dude, why'd you put so much stank on Ridge Racer?
Ridge Racer. Remember that one? All right, so let me go right ahead.
When you gotta say, remember that one, it's like, dude.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, there's something kind of honest about it. Like, he was kind of honestly, I think it's kind of neat that he was trying to connect to those Ridge Racer fans out there. Like, he played the game and I had a reference for it. I don't know. I think that's kind of cute in a weird way.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It says that was 2006.
Yeah, I mean, it fell flat and it's a little cringy. It feels not as bad though watching it now. Like, I recall him like saying Ridge Racer and just being quiet for like 20 seconds, but apparently he just kind of moves right on, so it's not as big of a deal. But oh man,
I think that's funny. I think that's got it. Maybe like a B or C.
Well, I always remember that moment. Like, I don't know if it's the best
I had
or
never
worst
seen it
moment,
until you put it on here, or one of you did.
Nope, a B.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of ingrained in my brain.
So this is another. The next one is also another super memorable one. What year was this? This was 20. Oh, this was 2013. So this was just before the launch of the PS4.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's that late. This feels. It was 2013 for Ridge Racer.
No. The next one is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Ridge Racer screen. I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
No, the next one is 2013.
Oh yes.
Oh god.
Sony being Sony, man.
See, I was more of an Xbox, like, this is when I was actually like a fanboy, and I didn't like this at the time. Looking back, I'm like, it's kind of funny. It's it's annoying, but it's funny.
How do you share your games on PS4?
I mean, it's brilliant. Like, it truly is that they capitalized on Xbox's fumble so quickly.
Well, they kind of post fun of them like hard.
But it goes back to Sony. Like, this is a great moment for Sony because they were able to undercut the other guy. But if this was on the other end, and I'll tell you what, you give it 3 years, they'll be the ones with no backwards compatibility. Or honestly, this is kind of what I'm going back to earlier. Like, they weren't allowing for like multi-platform gaming on their system. They weren't allowing you to like have cross-play on their system. Like they only let you play ball when it's in their court, and that's the thing I don't like about Sony sometimes. And granted, it's business, so I mean I get it, but they capitalize on these moments and it almost comes across hypocritical then when they flip it until it benefits them. So. It's a brilliant moment of marketing. Yeah, it just crushed Xbox. Really, this kind of killed Xbox the entire generation. Like, Xbox One never got traction after this. And I'm not sure if it's because of this moment or other just rationales for why the Xbox One didn't do well.
I think this was the Don Matrick era of Xbox, which...
So this was when Kinect was being pushed like crazy and, all the other media hub stuff, which is not what people wanted. So... that's all well and good. I get there are other reasons Xbox failed here,
but beginnings of like the streaming era too, where like you're saying the media aspect, where Xbox was like, all of your apps, all of your streaming, TV, you can all watch it here, and it's like, I can do that on my TV too.
Well, at the time you couldn't,
or my cable box.
Well, at least not very often. Well, even then you couldn't do it on your cable box. It was a pretty novel thing at the time. Like when the Xbox the PlayStation,
this is probably like the Amazon device or.
Yeah, you'd have to have a Fire Stick. Fire Sticks, I don't know if they were... I don't think Fire Sticks were out at this point.
Really? Oh.
This was like just as like the precursor for that. Because that's the only way this really makes sense, right? To have a console that's trying to be your media hub. I think if there would have been a Fire Stick or something, they'd be like, nope, that's not going to work for us anymore. So, I don't know. I would give this an A moment. Like, I kind of hate Sony for it, but I gotta respect it, man. Like, that's a moment.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a B.
Right there, buddy.
It's a B.
Yeah. So what do you guys say?
What else is in the B category?
We've got Gabe Newell, Flute Man, and Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer.
This is bigger. To me, this is bigger than Ridge Racer.
Okay.
Like, if I'm comparing it to those, yeah.
It was definitely the biggest meme I think that came out of that event. It was like, I don't know. look again. But at the time, I thought it was annoying, and I was like, I probably had the like, oh, it's very childish, immature. But looking back, I'm like, it's kind of funny. Whatever.
Yeah. No, I was an Xbox guy at the time too. I mean, I'm still kind of an Xbox guy in a lot of ways. I mean, I do like PlayStation, but PlayStation just always likes to rub people the wrong way, for better or for worse. And I don't know.
All right, we got 2 left, so let's blast through these last few. Next one is one that I personally very much enjoy. But we have the introduction. I think this was 2004. This is the introduction of Reggie Fils-Aimé and his kind of I don't know, taking over what Nintendo of North America. Oh, I skipped right over I think this is it right here.
We can watch some Resident Evil 4. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of Resident Evil 4.
Here we go.
My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names. And we're about making games.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, if you don't like that, man,
I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names.
Hell yeah. Ooh, my hair stood up a little bit just by watching that.
We like games with big stars and big explosions.
Yes. Can you go back to this for a second? His eyes said it all. Look.
Big.
Yeah.
We like games with big stars and big explosions.
Why have him at this conference? Like, he
So
says
good.
like
So good.
3 lines.
So good.
And we like games so scary, they keep you up at night.
Okay. He said one-liners.
This is like Arnold Schwarzenegger style, man.
Yeah. Alright.
Oh, God.
Who doesn't love Reggie?
It's pretty good, yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know, man.
Is this better than His Body Is Ready, though?
I mean...
Like, this is
I
like
don't
the
think
primer
I think
for
it's
that.
B. The step up below that.
Yeah.
So good.
And
I'll
that's
go
also a weird generation of Nintendo. That's like the latter end of the GameCube. I think that's just before the Wii, or is that?
Mm-hmm.
No, that is the Wii, because wasn't Echoes and Resident Evil 4?
It's on GameCube.
GameCube? Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting, because like, was the GameCube successful? I don't know in terms of numbers.
No.
Okay, so this is just them just before hitting like a high note with the Wii and that whole explosion.
Yeah, they were riding low right about now. It was because the freaking GameCube couldn't play DVDs. Like, that's why
right.
Sony was... Seriously, that's why Sony was killing them. I mean, there were other reasons, but yeah.
Yep.
All right, and on to the last one. This one, I don't know how it became the last one, but this is probably my favorite favorite one seeing here. I love this. This is the shortest video, too. This one's great.
Shorter than 20 seconds?
Teamwork
lights. No,
Oh, it is.
Hush up.
Oh, no, that's a commercial.
Stupid ad. It's only 7 or 8 seconds, so.
It's great, though.
Hurry up. Get your ad out of the way. Don't play a second one. No!
Yes.
You ever wonder what...
Oh, here we go.
My God, here we go.
You ever wonder what the bottom of an Avatar shoe looks like? Well, bam! There it is.
Play it again, please. Play it again.
You ever wonder what the bottom of an Avatar shoe looks like? Well, bam! There it is.
Bam!
Okay.
Why did he... Connect was such a mess at the time. That whole...
Well,
not
it
just the
never
time,
really
or-
didn't become a mess, to be fair, but... I don't think I can give it an S. It's going to be an A, but it's so funny. It's so funny.
You ever wonder what the bottom of an Avatar shoe looks like? Well, bam! There it is.
Man, and it breaks,
See a
too.
product fail that bad. Like, that's not like, you know, the battery dying in your controller. It's like, oh yeah, I see how that happened. That's your hardware not working in a spectacular way. So, yeah, that's an A. That's an A for me.
I think that's an S. I think that is hilarious.
It's hilarious, but if I'm thinking about impact, like the Miyamoto moment, the Keanu moment, those are bigger, I think. But this is a amazing moment. Like, when I think E3, I do think this moment, it's right up there at the top with all the others.
The only other moment that I think could have made its way towards an S, at least for me, would have been the Rock and Bill Gates moment. I forgot to add that one. Like, that whole presentation of the OG Xbox.
That wasn't an S to me, because that was a very, like, have you watched that presentation in a while?
It's been a while. Is it
very
boring?
Awkward. It's kind of boring, kind of sterile. I mean, it's cool that, I mean, especially at the time, if you were a wrestling guy and, you know, it's The Rock and the Xbox is this cool new thing. Like, it was neat, but I wouldn't have given it an S. I probably would have put that A or B at best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. At least I wanted to mention it. That was one that stuck out. Any other ones that stuck out that you forgot? Other than the Ghostwire Tokyo lady. No. I can't think of anything immediately.
There's probably some. I mean, I'd have to think about it. I already mentioned the Halo 3 one for me was kind of big. Yeah, I can't remember if there's anything else in particular, but I think those are some of the highlights. As I'm going to miss E3. I don't know about you guys, but at some level, my heart's broken.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
Where do we end up on the tier list? Because we can't see it on the screen,
Oh,
Chaz,
shoot.
so...
Can you see it now?
No.
Oh, hold on. Hopefully this doesn't fling things around.
Yeah, there it is.
Let me just make sure. Okay, cams are good. Okay. But yeah, that's so basically what we got was D. We had the weird rock music game, Rock Revolution. Next we had the Wii Vitality device. We had the PS3 price kind of failure that happened there. The weird Wii music event. For C, I should say, Fallout 4's presentation in 2015 with Bethesda. We had the Uncharted 4 controller. For B, we had Gabe Newell shows up to Portal for PlayStation. Flute Guy, Ridge Racer. Which one was this? This is...
My Body... No,
this is his intro.
His intro, yeah.
Intro, A, Body is Ready.
The Body is Ready.
The Muppets. Mario and Rabbids. The Sony PlayStation guy up, I guess, undercutting Sega. And then, what was this? This was the, how do you trade games for PlayStation 4. Then we had Wabam. And then at the S, of course, we had Keanu and the Cyberpunk and Miyamoto for Twilight Princess.
I'm pretty happy with that. I think the only one, maybe looking at all of them in context, the Sony first reveal, the 1995, I might bump that down to a B. Like, just kind of looking at the company it's around. I don't know.
Maybe.
You can leave it.
You can leave it. I think so. What do you think, Gamer?
I think just leave it. I mean, I could see why. I mean, it's very...
Like, I'm trying to compare that moment to the BAM. I mean...
Yeah, like, you're pretty much on the same pedestal as the BAM.
Like, and the Muppets, and My Body is Ready. Like, I guess that's why I would drop it down, but... That's my argument. You guys can leave it. I don't care. But I think overall, I think the list is pretty representative. There have been some really fun moments over the years in E3s, and that's what I think we're not going to get anymore, right?
We're not.
They're going to do their directs. They're going to do their spotlights, which are all going to be game focused, which is great. But we're not going to get Wabam. We're not going to get this is how you trade games. Not going to get the breathtaking moments like. That makes me a little sad because that is more than just the game. That is the culture of gaming. Like, that's what E3 was to me. It was this time we all come together and we kind of celebrate enjoying games, this hobby, right? Now it's going to be spread out a whole bunch of different, virtual showcases, and it's not going to feel congruent. It's not going to have these moments. It's just, I don't know. It's going to kind of sterilize it. Some people don't care. They just want to see, all the announcements kind of come out at one time. That's all they look for in E3, but I like the cultural significance, at least the game culture significance, and
I agree.
We're losing something here. Yeah.
I like the performances. I like the strange things that happen. Like, it's like you look for something fun.
Yeah.
You know,
and like the replacement of this now is what is it, Keighley's Summer Game Fest? You don't get these moments at that. You get ads, you get trailers, and that's really it. The Game Awards show, same thing. Like,
although
you don't
the
get
Game
these
Awards
moments.
did have the weird event with Bill Clinton kid, but
okay, but that wasn't. That's a different kind of.
Yeah, that's a
moment.
different
I
kind
mean,
of.
I mean, you're right. So it's live, so you have the weird things that can't occur just because it's live. But that was not a what bam moment. That was not a breathtaking moment. That was a what the heck is this kid doing kind of moment. So I don't know. Maybe things will change and there will be another event that kind of takes this role at some point. But I don't see it being anything Jeff Keighley's offering, and I don't really see anybody else trying to step into that a limelight. So. Oh well, pour one out for E3.
Yep. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That was our little, I don't know, our sending off E3, burning in a ship, floating into the sea.
Viking funeral.
Viking funeral. All right, so what do you guys got going on before next episode? Anyone starting any games, shows, movies?
I really want to see Mario movie.
Yeah,
my daughter is super pumped about it, so I probably won't get to see it this week just because it is a crazy, crazy week. But hopefully, maybe Sunday, maybe. But I don't know. I'm gonna try to see it as soon as I can because I know she's hyped for it.
Fair enough. What about you, gamer?
I don't know. I feel like playing Connect.
Bam.
Bam.
Bam. No,
we should at some point revisit some of these like weird kind of failed projects these companies have done. Just kind of revisit them, see if they're worth it. Like Connect, I think is an interesting kind of point of study. Or like the Vita or the Vitality sensor, just some weird stuff like that. That'll be a fun way to kind of have a segment or two, or like maybe like the 10 most failed gaming peripherals of all time. I don't know. That could be a different tier list.
I've been wanting to do some like weird deep dives. Like I mentioned it on my last Dragon Ball video, but one of these days I want to do like a curated.
Wait. You do Dragon Ball? What? You do Dragon Ball videos?
I do Dragon Ball.
What?
Well, I will.
I thought you just did terrible Let's Plays on these stupid podcasts.
You hush up. But no, I want to do like a curated, lengthy video talking about Toonami. Like stuff like that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, these tier lists are kind of a fun way to do that. So if you're wanting to do it on the podcast, I mean, we kind of pick, moments or highlights or whatever. We can kind of, break them down and, kind of rank them or discuss how we feel about them.
Yeah. Maybe we could do our favorite video game soundtracks. We could do a tier list. I know we could do Final Fantasy. You got lots of Zelda, Mass Effect.
We'll never get out of here. Metal will talk for like 8 hours.
Not entire soundtracks. I mean singular, like...
He'll break down every song for every song soundtrack. We'll be here for a long time.
Don't get me started with Metroid Prime. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
I love that soundtrack.
Alrighty, well I think that wraps up everything. That was the EnteR ChazmaN podcast. What is this, episode number 32? Any suggestions or questions you guys might have, we'd love to answer down in the comments. I think I forgot to mention, feel free, check out the audio podcast locations. They should be on screen somewhere. And I don't know, reach out to us anywhere you can. We'd love to answer anything you got.
Yeah, if there's any E3 moments you feel like we missed, I'd love to see what your suggestions are, because, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened over the past couple of decades.
If they're as funny as Wabam, I would love to be remembered and go back.
I want to see all the funny ones. I love Cringe and Veil.
But yeah, so, I don't know. You guys got anything to say before we head out?
Nope. Bye.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We loves you.
Wabam.
Peace. Wabam.
Wabam.
That should be our new catchphrase. Wabam. I don't think anyone will ever get it, but...
In the podcast.
Actually, I think Destin Legary, that's his catchphrase. Darn it. Oh, well. Bye, everybody.